Hello and welcome to this afternoon taste challenge. And we have from 1873, well, not this can, but the brand Coors Banquet beer. 5% alcohol, certified kosher. This beer is produced only in Golden, Colorado. It's not nearly as available as the very popular Coors Light. And we're going up against Michelob Lager, or as they're calling it now on the Tap Into Your Beer, Michelob Original Lager. I guess they want to make sure they differentiate it and people not thinking it's Michelob Ultra. Now it's 4.8% alcohol. This beer has varied between 4.8 and 5. It's right there on the bottle, 4.8. 53rd day of 2019. It's got the born on date, guys. And this is best by June 24th, 2019. All right. I think I'll be able to tell them apart. When I did the Bush versus Coors, I got them confused, and I could blame my father calling me and distracting me. And, you know, it's not good to get distracted like that, but I think that's more just an excuse. I think I just got it wrong. But it seemed astounding, really, because I thought the banana note versus that thin body of Bush and that lower alcohol, good deal lower alcohol, was just going to make it a cinch, just the easiest thing. But overconfidence can get you screwed up. Overconfidence is a one of the roadblocks to problem solving. One of the things that leads you to not solve a problem. Gold for this beer from Golden, Colorado, looks paler with the sun shining at it. Thick head. Michelob twist cap. And this shock top type bottle. You notice that? But it's not that it's in a shock top bottle. It's that shock top is in a Michelob bottle. The modern Michelob bottle. Because you might remember it used to be called Michelob shock top. Go put these in the fridge so you don't warm up. Yeah, originally it was Michelob shock top, and then that was taken off of the Michelob line. But the Michelob Ultra is still on the Michelob line with the little ribbon, you know, the dark and lighter red ribbon. And we have the Amberbach. We have Michelob Original, Michelob Amberbach, Michelob Light, the Ultra line with all their variants, the Lime Cactus, the Amber, the Organic, the Gold Organic. Then you have Michelob Golden Draft, which is a cold filtered draft version that you can only get in the Midwest. Michelob Golden Draft Light, or Goldie Light, as I heard them calling it when I was in Minneapolis, Goldie Light. So there's a wide range of Michelob branded beers, isn't there? There's still Coors Extra Gold, or it's just called Extra Gold Lager from Coors. It used to be Coors Extra Gold. Still on the label it says Coors Brewing Company. There's Coors Light. That's about it for the Coors name. There's no longer the Coors Arctic Ice or the Coors Dry. Any of those models, they didn't really catch on. I think in Canada there's a different one. And then you had the Coors NA, the non-alcoholic. Somebody sent me a photo of that the other day. One of the viewers. In Canada there's a different one. Forgot to mute it. And I was saying, yeah, I've seen that around, but I never tried it. And then he told me this morning it's not good. The NAs are usually not very good. There's some that are less offensive than others. Sweet. Nick V says, afternoon. Dwayne W says, Coors all the way. Banquet is a fine beer. How's LSU going to look this year? You talking about for football? I don't make an official prediction until June, but it's looking pretty good from what I can tell. Drunken One says, hey, Ron. Hello, Drunken One. Appreciate you watching. Hanover Glassware says, thanks, Ron, for reminding us of the solid performing macro brews. You're welcome. Sodally Tober says, what's up, Big Ron? Did you ever have low and brow back in the day? And then Dwayne says, yes. Yes, I had the American brewed when Miller had the contract for Low and Brow. I had the Low and Brow and the Low and Brow Dark. And they were pretty good. I used to drink those from time to time. I'd get them at Winn-Dixie and all. Then that went away. And then when I was in Manhattan one time, I found a bottle of the original European Michelob, the all malt, no water. I mean, yeah, no water, no corn or rice. And I love that. That was a great beer. But Michelob is dead for America pretty much. And I would love to try all of their line. If you look on the Michelob, I keep saying the Low and Brow. If you look at the Low and Brow website for Germany, Low and Brow DE, Germany, Deutschland, they've got a Low and Brow Triumphanator that's 7.5% or 8%, super strong. Boy, can you imagine what the Triumphanator tastes like? And there's a Low and Brow Dunkel, and oh man. We just get a little tease of the portfolio from Anheuser-Busch InBev, just a little tease. A lot of their great ones we don't get, like Grolsch. We get Grolsch, great beer, right? But we don't get the Grolsch Cannon, the 11% Grolsch. Can you imagine that? G and JK says, still never tried a Michelob product in my life. Wow, can't believe it. Initially, I think this is the Michelob and that's the Coors, but it's tough on aroma. That's where I started getting confused with Busch. This one does seem to have that sour, Anheuser-Busch sour note, but let's go with the taste because aroma's not really showing it. The appearance, they're both golden, or as some people would say, yellow fizzy stuff. Okay, I'll go along with that. Feel that I taste that banana, especially in the burp. So that's got to be the Coors over there. Yeah. You see, when you have an all malt beer, no corn or rice, you get what I call a barley burn. It's like the barley is intense. They use the 2-row barley, and it's like a burn, almost like it burns. And I'm used to it, and I like it, but I think a lot of Americans, like your Michelob Ultra drinkers or your Bud Light drinkers, they would say, oh, it's too strong, it's too nasty. I hear a lot of people around here saying that it's nasty. And the rice and the corn, or in many Anheuser-Busch beers, it's rice and corn both used together, will smooth it out or soften it. Kind of like, you know, so they would just like that flavor. You could think about it along the lines of like a straight bourbon. A lot of people might say it's too harsh. And I hear people say, I don't like bourbon. Yeah. And I say, why you don't like it? And they'll say the char, it's like too burnt or charred corn or something. I don't know. They may not be that specific. It's something about it they don't like. But then they'll drink a blended American whiskey like Seagram 7. They'll say, oh, I like that one. 7 and 7, or they'll say something like that. Because that neutral spirit is softening it. Or even a blended bourbon they might like 10 High. I've had people say, I like that 10 High. So it's whatever you like. All right. And if they had a problem with regular bourbon like Jim Beam, imagine what they would say with an Elijah Craig barrel proof. they'll probably gag, and spit it out. and they would think the Michelob was too harsh. Can you imagine what they would say with a Triumphanator or a Carlsberg Elephant? PBR is my absolute favorite, says Dwayne. I like Pabst Blue Ribbon now. I can't get tired of it. I wish I could have gotten a hold of the Michelob malt. Yeah, true story. It was a beer they made called Michelob malt liquor. Didn't last, but boy, if I could have gotten a hold of that. So here's this 1996-97 fact book for the 1996-97 year, business year or whatever. This is back when you could write letters to a company or even an email, and they would send you literature like paper. And I like that because I could keep it, as a memory. It's no good on the internet because maybe you could find cached stuff, archived stuff, but they usually delete it and reformulate it for the next year. But this you could save paper, They're giving you the website on the back. But after a while, I would call them and they would say, oh, just look on the website. They're not going to mail you anything anymore. Because I wanted to get collectibles of all this. Pabst never would send me anything. They said something like, oh, yeah, like, what's your address or something, but I never got anything from them. When I was a child, like 13, 14 years old, somebody gave me a book called Free Stuff for Kids, and it was all about free things you could get. And one was saying, one chapter was like, you could write letters to companies, they'll just send you stuff. So I wrote a letter to every NFL team, and they sent me in 1982, whatever, a poster showing the whole United States with a helmet for where each team was located. I wrote letters to the Kansas City Chiefs, Dallas Cowboys. It didn't matter. All these teams, they all sent me posters and decals and yearbooks and calendars. I still have all that stuff. Okay, but if I'd have been on the ball at that age, I would have written letters to the beer companies just to get literature, I didn't think about it. Even though I wasn't old enough to drink, I still would have written it. They wouldn't have asked, I might have, I don't know. I'd have told my father, here, you write the letter. He'd have done it. Whatever. Or sign it, Daddy. Let's see. Michelob. This is all these craft beers they used to make back in the 1990s. But I'm not going to read about all those. Back when people said they didn't make craft beer, but they did actually. All right. They even made a Carlsberg Red Elephant. Yep. Carlsberg Red Elephant. Michelob malt. Heck. Here's the ABV chart. Busch. Yeah, it used to be 4.9%. I told you it used to be stronger. And then Busch Ice used to be lighter, 5.7. Let's see, Michelob. Yeah, they even made a beer called Munchiner. They made Black and Tan, Faust, Elk Mountain Red, Elk Mountain Amber Ale. A lot of people, they just lie or they're ignorant, they'll just say, I hear this all the time, saying, man, I'm so glad craft beer came along because they rescued us from the evil companies like Anheuser-Busch and Miller, who only ever made a bunch of yellow fizzy stuff. And I'm like, that is actually not true. They had Michelob dark beer. Miller dark for years. Wonder why they stopped making it. Oh, well, I guess people weren't buying it. It wasn't until the onset of the internet and craft beer, and then you have communities and people talking that grew. But it was in play already, but I don't want to get into that big rant. Yeah, Michelob 5% back in 96, 97. And then it's dropped to 4.8. No big drop. Not a great drop, but it has dropped. All right. But it's just comical, that people will say that, and they just continually say it. They just say it. You just keep saying it, people believe it. And then people will tell me, you're a shill. You're just a spokesman for the big companies and all that claptrap. I'm like, wow, you're wrong again. I'm not a spokesman for any of these companies. I'm not even worried about these companies. I'm saying, don't go out there talking about stuff and you don't know what you're talking about. I do know what I'm talking about. Aiden Rowland says, okay, let's see. And then I'm going to call it. DJ Mexicano de Tejas says, awesome Lone Star hat. Thank you. The company actually sent me this. And a red cap, you know, for the regular. Aiden says, drinking a beer now, cutting the grass today. Got to have a lawn beer before and after yard work. I cut my grass Saturday. Came out really nice too, boy. Michelob over Coors all day, says Aiden. I think so too. Sorely Tober says, didn't Michelob make Amberbach years ago? Yeah, 1995. They started making Michelob Dark in 81. 81, Michelob Dark. Oh, what a beer that was. I still have 2 bottles with beer in it. But I wouldn't dare drink it that many years later. And it was a rich taste, and it was roasted. It was rich. It had some like little chocolate notes and coffee notes. You say, no, you're wrong. They only made yellow fizzy stuff. You're wrong. No, I'm right, because I got the bottles, and I bought it, and I drank it. You sure the hell do know what you're talking about, says Pipe Man, 1958. Yeah, I do know what I'm talking about. I've been having this hobby since 96, February 96. If I would have been smart, I'd have been having it since probably February 86, instead of wasting my life with soft drinks for 10 years. But that's water under the bridge, man. I bet I'd have been feeling better if I'd have been drinking beer instead of soft drinks, you know, like Coke and Pepsi and all that. And I was never even if I'd have started drinking beer at age 18, I would have not been one of those party drinkers. That's not my scene, okay? I'd have been in college all nerdy. You know what I mean? It'd have been me and this little gang of college people saying, oh, look, oh, don't you notice Coors Extra Gold has more intricate flavors? And then the other college people would have been saying, oh, please, why do they have people like this, man? You know, they'd been wearing their little Oxford shirts and their little shorts and their saddle lock shoes, trying to fight. You know, they always want to fight. And they'd say mother something a lot. Sit out in front of the fraternity on those couches. But I mean, I don't care what they did. Just go do whatever you do, and go to the game and wear a tie and then fight in the stands. And I'll just laugh. And I don't care what you do. I know I'm in it. Oh, thank you, Pipe Man. All right. So I'm going to. And then when it got cool, they had their members only jacket on. I don't resent that. I wasn't jealous of it. I didn't care about it. I went to high school with people like that, and college with people like that. I didn't mind them. They were all like Ferris Bueller, you know. Okay. I'm friends with some of them. But they weren't going to talk about the intricate qualities of each beer. You know, they were just going to get drunk and funnel it or whatever. I went to some of those parties and I was watching them like, all right. I was just watching them. I wasn't saying, I'm passing judgment on these people. They disgust me. I just said to myself, this is not what I like to do, but they apparently love doing it. Then they puke later, throw up, and then talk about it. They like brag about how they threw up. Oh man, I was puking. And I was like, why would you be bragging about getting sick? But anyway, if I'm not part of that scene, do I know it? But I used to see an insidious part of that scene too. Like it wasn't all fun and games, because I used to watch those guys in Baton Rouge at LSU or whatever, and I'd be thinking they're on drugs. Like these people are all going to be drug addicts. They think they're cute, you know. Yeah, they're cool. You're cool, man. And I'm thinking, I'm thinking in 1987, age 19, I'm thinking, you ain't going to be so cool when you get a Jones and you got to go stealing money to get drugs. Then you're going to be a dope addict. But that's what you want to do. I'm going to go get my comic books and read about Superman in space or something, whatever. All right. This has got to be, this has got to be Michelob. Yeah, it is. I knew I was going to get this one right. I knew it as soon as the second sniff. Original Michelob is so hard to get here in my area in Michigan, says Pipe Man. Yeah, I mean, it's hard to get here. I can't even get it in this entire town. I cannot get original Michelob in St. John the Baptist Parish. I have to go to either St. Charles Parish, which they have good prices there, or Jefferson Parish. I'm not obsessed with it. I can get Michelob Amberbach here, though. I can get Amberbach. I'm not obsessed with it. I wish I could get it. AB should bring back the old school Michelob bottles for a while. Yeah, once they got bought out, they killed all that. I think they were losing money anyway, so they started cutting them down. Like I'll show you what I mean. See, when I started drinking Michelob, Amberbach is good, says Jeremy. I know that, right? I know that's right. See, when I started drinking Michelob back in '96, they had these kind of bottles, the teardrop, whatever they call them. Somebody said it. They tried to make it look like a woman's body. I've never seen a woman who had a body shaped like this. Maybe one of those. I've never seen. No, it just looks like some unique bottle design, whatever. Okay. So they had these, and I liked them. And this still has beer in it. I'm telling you, this bottle has never been opened. And it was it's got a born on date, guys. April 7th, 1998. That was the born on date, guys. Put the damn date. Well, it's funny because they have been putting the born on date for years. But then I noticed they started cutting corners, like they went to this bottle. Still the same shape, but you notice it's a twist cap. I'm not going to twist it off because it's hell to get them back on. And it's rusting anyway. That steel cap is rusting out. You can see it's losing it. So then it didn't have the paper shroud anymore. And I was thinking back then, I was like, oh boy, cheapening it up, cheapening things up. September 1st. Now here's the weird thing about this bottle. It's not weird. It's just, guess when this bottle was made or filled. This bottle was filled on September 11, 2001. 9/11, 2001. Yep, true story. Hear a lot of sirens. I wonder what they were thinking at that plant, at that brewery when that was going on. All imported hops. Yeah, they have their own hop farms in Czechia. Anheuser-Busch has their own hop farms in Europe, BE7, I think this is Virginia. It's probably brewed at that Virginia plant that they have. Richmond, Virginia, isn't it Richmond? This one's JC, Jacksonville, I guess. Well, hey. Michelob is better than Coors. I'm sorry, but it is. To me, that's my opinion, you see. People have opinions, but somehow you're not supposed to have. But so they started, Anheuser-Busch was kind of going downhill by the early 2000s. And because they had a problem with cost control. Like they were spending money faster than they could make it. And they had a lot of internal problems. So their shareholders forced the Bush family to sell it. It was basically like an uprising. The shareholders were like, we're overthrowing these people because they're incompetent, because they never really owned much of the company. They call it Anheuser-Busch, but the Bush family didn't really own much of it. They just always got away with having a minority share because the money kept coming in, right? But when the shareholders could see things were starting to slip badly, that's when they sold out to InBev. And they didn't really care what the Bush people said. They were mad about it, but they just like pushed them out the way, said, get out the way. And then when Carlos Brito took over for InBev, he was like, we're getting rid of all these fancy bottles because this thing is costing money. Why is it so hard? Pipe Man says, it used to be so easy to get. I have one store. I know I can get it. Well, I don't know. They sacrificed Michelob for Michelob Ultra. Now, Michelob Ultra is one of the top selling beers in the whole United States. So I guess they run behind the money. Can't blame them. They would make money off Michelob maybe if they ever promoted it for the last 30 years. Josh Terry says, your Budweiser distributor orders barely any of it because it doesn't sell well. That's why you can't find it anywhere. That's right. They're not going to put stuff on the shelf so it can go expired. Supply and demand. That's right. Is there a big demand for Michelob? No. So since there's very little demand, there's not much supply. Could they create demand by promoting it? You would think they could. Doesn't the craft beer world want better quality beer? Yeah, right. So, hell, promote it. Kent Beer Review says, great history, thumbs up, thank you, and I appreciate that. I'm about to do another video, y'all, called 5 beer-related things about me. 5 beer, wine, and liquor-related things about me. You know how people had that thing going on, 5 non-beer-related things? I'm going to do 5 beer-related things. So they ran the company like our government. Right. Except they didn't invade other countries on some flimsy pretext. Josh Terry, what happened to people these days? Why do they like light beers? Like my friend Paul says, so they can drink a ton of it and not feel it and get drunk, you know. They just guzzle it down. You know, you can drink Miller Lite, Bud Light, just still 4.2% alcohol, and they're just, you know, guzzling it in, baby. That's the whole that's the real reason. It's not because they're on a diet. You ever see most people that's drinking Bud Light, do they look like they're on a diet? Do they look like they need to go on a diet? Yes, they look like they need to go on a diet. If they get the price right, then I'm a buyer, says Jeff Jameson. Josh Terry says, Pipe Man, that's what the market wants. Everyone is calorie conscious now. Yeah. Okay, so I got it right. I was able to tell Michelob easily from Coors because Michelob tastes so much richer and fuller because it's an all malt beer. It's a premium beer. You know, it's a better product to me. Now, the Coors fans that get angry, you know, I'm not trying to make anybody angry. Love what you drink. Drink what you love, says Hanover Glassware. I wish everybody had that philosophy. Some people have this like real controversial philosophy, you know. But anyway, now get ready because in a few minutes, you're going to see another video called 5 beer-related things about me. Thanks for watching this video production. Then you're going to really hear some ranting and raving. Going to really hear some ranting and raving.